Okay, so welcome everybody, and thank you for coming to our webinar, or for staying at home and watching our webinar. Technology and I have kind of a rocky friendship, so I appreciate your patience and grace if we have a power struggle. So I've shared my screen. So I have a little slide deck that I'm going to share with you, and then I'll show you how to navigate the website and show you some of the features. And then at the end, there'll be time for questions. But if you have questions throughout the little presentation, you're really welcome to use the chat, or you can let Muna know. Muna is my colleague and co-facilitator. So you can let her know if there's something that you would like to have addressed sooner than at the end during the office hours. And we are recording this webinar, so you are welcome to watch it again. If there's something that you missed, you can contact me, and we'll be in touch after with some more information for you to sort of follow up. So I am Katy Kramer. I'm the Early Learning Specialist for PBS Wisconsin. And so we call early learning pre-kindergarten to about second, third grade, about 8 years old. And so I have about 5 years of experience as an infant toddler preschool teacher. I've worked in Head Start, I've worked in migrant Head Starts, and now I'm here at PBS Wisconsin, and I connect teachers of pre-kindergarten through third grade with PBS materials for them to use in their classrooms or use with their students at home. And so one of the pieces of street cred that I have is that I have a 6-year-old. And so earlier we were just sharing that homeschooling, when you're also trying to work from home, was really challenging. And so Keelan is my daughter, and she has been going to her care provider, who is also a teacher. And so she's my best guinea pig. We get to practice using all of the resources that I like to talk to teachers about. So that's sort of my little ace in the hole. So here is Mr. Rogers.
Aww.
We love Mr. Rogers at PBS Wisconsin. He always has the right words for the occasion. And so Fred says, play is often talked about as if it were relief from serious learning. But for children, play is serious learning. Play is really the work of childhood. And so thanks to viewers like you, we get to share Mr. Rogers and discuss how playful learning and PBS Kids can be used by you. And this is Jean Piaget, and I love Jean Piaget because I'm all about child development. And so Jean said, when you teach a child something, you take away forever his chance of discovering it for himself. And, you know, he said that children were like little scientists. So what I'm going to share with you are frameworks for you to use to design playful, hands-on learning experiences for the kids that you're teaching remotely, so that they can practice and experience concepts in a fun way. So it's almost like being a little sneaky and sharing something that they think is just playing a game, but they're actually learning as well. Because I can tell you from my personal experience, when you say, okay, it's time to do your schoolwork, there's more resistance than saying, hey, you want to play this game? That goes way better. So there are different types of playful learning. And so today we're going to mostly talk about guided play as being the most effective and appropriate type of play for enhancing academic outcomes. There's also adult directed, which is essentially teaching, right? That's the adult saying, here's this thing, we need to do this, and let's do this. I'm going to share with you what this is. Then there's the co-opted play, which is child initiated, when they say, hey, play with me. And the adult says, okay, we're going to play, but we're going to play Candyland. And this is how you play it, and this is how you do it. And there's rules involved. Then when it's child directed and child initiated, that's just free play. That's where, they get to choose what they want to play with. They can play with blocks. They play with whatever they want, and for as long as they want. But what we're sharing with you is an example of how to do adult initiated and child directed play. So you're setting up the framework of saying, hey, I really think this is a great fun game for you. In secret, you're thinking, and you will be learning all of this stuff by playing this game. And the child gets to play the game however and for however long they want. And then I'll share with you ways to follow up with that to meet some learning outcomes as well. So we're going to follow up. There's learning goals sheets and free apps sheet. I'll go ahead and email this out to you after this webinar. And it's hard to see this little sheet, but it shares the learning goals by topic. And then there's a little column for the age that it's most pertinent to, and then which modality it's supporting. So if it's math, or if it's coding, if it's technology, or if it's life science. And so there's 2 sheets that'll be coming, and it shares which apps are free and which are supported. So there's a blue one and a pink one. So today we're going to use Nature Cat as an example for you. He's pretty fun. As soon as his family leaves, Fred the cat turns into Nature Cat, and he goes on a quest to learn about nature with his friends. Ronald, he's the big cat, and Squeaks the mouse, Hal's the dog, and Daisy is the rabbit. And so on the PBS Kids site that I'll show you in just a second, I'll show you how to find those online, and then we'll go ahead and look at the resource and how to use it. So the game that we're going to play is called Nature Roadtrip. There's videos, and I'm sharing the link with that, but I'll show you how to find it. And then when you go to the Nature Cat page, there's also DIY hands-on activities for you to do. These would be really fun to share as PDFs with the parents or caregivers of the kids that you're teaching. And then there's also a follow-up game. And so we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to go online, and we'll navigate the website from the PBS Wisconsin Education website, and I'll show you how to get there. And so we like this game a lot, which was how I was inspired to do this example activity using the game. We're not going to watch a video, but I just wanted to share with you that the videos were there and that they're available for kids. And so we're going to do that right now. So we're going to go to PBS Wisconsin Education. And there it is. There's our webpage. And we're considering this early childhood. So again, early childhood is pre-K through 8. And then we're going to go on down to the tiles, and here is our PBS Kids tile. Okay, and so this is a webpage that is specifically for kids. So it's super easy for kids to navigate. Adults get a little hung up on, well, where are some of these things? But because it's child-centric, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's very intuitive. And so I'm going to show you this splits into 2 pieces. The videos. Video. Here. Woo. Games. And the games. Can you all hear that? Mm-hmm. Awesome. And so video. People can also do a search and they can look for new games.
New games.
There's a game of the day.
Popular games. Hard games.
And then you can go down and search
all games.
All games. Right? Super fun. To spin the wheel, you just use the arrows. And we're spinning and spinning until we can go ahead and find Nature Cat. So then,
tally-ho! Ha-ha! Why, hello there! Welcome to our website, adventurer!
It takes us to Nature Cat's website. And as you can see, there's the game, there's the video, and there's the do-it-yourself. And we'll look at those in a minute. The game that we're going to play is Nature Roadtrip. So Nature Roadtrip is a true game. Some of the games on this website are more like interactives, and they're not levels, they're just activities that kids can do and enjoy and build skills. But Nature Roadtrip is a true game. There's somebody who, dare I say, wins, whoever finishes first. There's, you earn energy points with skill games. I'll show you those in a minute. And then you earn a souvenir, and the goal is to get a souvenir from each of the places so you can access photos from your trip. And so the learning goal for this would be to explore features of a national park featured in the game. And so this could be landforms, it could be exciting features, it could be wildlife. Once you play it, you may even think of some more. And so I set up framing questions after the game. My daughter didn't want to respond to any of those framing questions I asked her, but when I asked her if she could design a park, what would it look like? She had lots of ideas. This included a volcano. And so even though it may not seem like she was learning because it wasn't a lesson, it was, in fact, quite educational. So now we're going to look at Nature Roadtrip. And we're going to say play.
What a great day for a road trip. Hey, what?
Let's do this.
The Ronald's ready. Oh, yeah, baby!
Oh, man, cut the mouse in.
I can't think of a better way to check off more sites on my curiosity list. What are we waiting for? We start here and visit as many parks as we can.
Except for one thing, Nature Cat. We have to make sure we stop at every park and pick up a souvenir to prove that we were there.
And let's see how much nature energy we can collect along the way. Tally-ho! Who do you want to be on your road trip team? You can choose from 1 to 5 characters to play.
So I want to choose one character.
You can choose from 1 to 5 characters to play.
But if you want to choose one, the game takes a lot longer.
Onward and trailward. Time to start our road trip. Spin that spinner. You can either tap on the center or swipe it.
Spin the spinner and your character will advance automatically.
I get to tell Nature Cat where to go.
Onward and trailward. Nature Cat. I sure hope there's no water on this trail. It's my turn. There's so much nature to see.
Welcome to Niagara Falls.
So this is the first sort of small-based game for the
Smallmouth bass can survive a trip over Horseshoe Falls, one of the 3 falls that make up Niagara Falls.
You only have a short time to tap on as many of them as you can. The more you tap, the more nature energy you earn. Earn enough nature energy and win a park souvenir. The Niagara River starts at Lake Erie and ends at Lake Ontario, flowing down more than 300 feet from start to finish. The biggest drop, of course, is over the falls. Congratulations on winning your park souvenir! Near.
Earn 100 points or more to win photos of the trip.
Onward and spinward.
and Ray. There's different challenges that you can see for
onward and trailward.
Katie,
Yeah.
The mighty trail
I
awaits.
can't hear you at all.
Okay.
I don't know if others are having a problem too.
Spin that spinner. Spin that spinner.
Yeah.
If you mute your volume, or if you lower it significantly, that might be better.
How is that?
That's a lot better, but does that impact how well you can hear us now?
Nope, I can hear you all just fine.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, thanks
Can hear me.
everybody. Thanks for your patience and understanding. So that was really just an example of how the game goes. You spin it, there are different challenges along the way. Sometimes you lose points, sometimes you gain points, sometimes you take points from your competitors. There are different learning opportunities with different tiles along the board. And then hopefully you get all of your souvenirs, and the first person to get to the end does not in fact win, but then they wait for their friends to finish as well, and hopefully they've all gotten it. So this is an example of a game that has some great learning opportunities. If you could hear through the volume, you learned a lot about the bass that are at Niagara Falls, the same way that you learn about bats at the Grand Canyon, and I think prairie chickens in the grasslands. It's really interesting, and it's a fun way to learn about wildlife and what life is like at a national park. So next, I'm going to share, we're going to go back to the website. Sorry, Nature Cat.
Tally ho!
The do-it-yourself page. I found this.
Hey there, these are the DIYs, which just means do it yourself. Check them out.
I thought these were really great supports and features that were interesting and fun, and they are PDFs, so you can copy them and share them with families, and they look like a great opportunity for going outside and enjoying nature. So that's something neat to look outside. I love this do-it-yourself greenhouse opportunity. I thought that looked really fun. So there are the games, the videos, some of them.
Welcome to the videos page. Here's where you can watch clips of me and my friends.
Some of them are clips, some of them are...
That's me, Fred the house cat. When my family leaves...
And so that is the Nature Cat page, which is just one of the many characters that you can find at the PBS Kids website. If you look right here, you can log in. You can, the only reason that you can make a login is if you wanted to save points for some of the games that you play. It's definitely not necessary. Kids do not need it in order to play. And so here we are back at the PBS Kids website, right? So now I'm going to go back to my slide deck and share with you. Hold on, if I can find it. I kind of need to move back. Oh, whoop. I can't see my little. Nope. Nope. Hold on.
Hey, Katie, quick question about Nature Cat.
Yes.
Where might we be able to find the learning objectives that are connected with either the games or the DIY activities?
I will share that with you in about 1 second. I'm having to go back to my slide deck.
Okay.
And it should be in the presentation mode. Okay. So we're going to skip through these. So here are the national standards, the ISTE standards and the Wisconsin standards that all support NatureCat. And so as you can see, they're mostly technology based. They're not life science or science based. So that's an opportunity for you to explore using PBS Kids in order to make something fun and know that they're getting the technology practice, but it's not essentially supporting a science standard. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Julie says that she can't hear anything, so I'm just wondering if anyone else is having a hard time hearing.
Okay,
Katie?
I'm going to turn my volume up.
Becky can hear. I can hear you.
I can hear.
Better
Okay.
I'm going to jump in. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to add on the standards. This is Kristen from PBS Wisconsin. I taught first and third grade. And when I think back to the science classes that I taught and the social studies classes that I taught, the game that Katy just introduced would definitely connect with social studies standards. We taught a lot about landforms. And when kids play that NatureCat game, they're learning about the different landforms at each of the national parks.
And so
that's just one example.
Yep. So the frame that I used for this game was then sharing after the child would play the game. I'd share the essential question. What did you learn about national parks by playing Nature Roadtrip? So sort of as a reflection. What was your favorite souvenir and why? Did playing Nature Roadtrip make you want to visit a national park, and which one? And if you were going to build a park, what would you want it to look like? And so you can see how to use these materials to guide this in a direction. If you're looking for information on landforms, about the park, about wildlife, I think you can scaffold the Nature Roadtrip game then with the Park Builder game. There's a couple different Park Builder games, and you can share if you were going to build a park, what would you want it to look like? My child said she'd like a volcano in her park, so she's quite creative. And so on the website, I shared a little bit that it's divided into games and videos, and each of those have their own app. So you can just go to PBS Kids Games, you can just go to PBS Kids Videos, and you can do the searches by character on each of those apps. You can explore by character, and this search feature isn't easy for kids to access. So there's sort of like a adult underground, and you can find it by going to parents, or you can use this link that I've provided. You just go to pbskids.org/find it, and it gives you the search. Another great way to use that is to look at the frequently asked questions, and that shares a lot of the ways. This is also a portal to go to PBS Parents. So that's also a great resource to share with parents, but it's a great resource for adults as well. And so some of the games, there are true games with levels that build on top of each other and get harder and harder the more you succeed. Sometimes there's a winner, and sometimes it's more like just an interactive or an activity. And so some characters also have their own app, and the app can look and behave a little differently depending if you're on a tablet or an iPad. I can show you an example of that during the office hours if that's something that you're interested in. And definitely some games need to be played on a touch screen with a mouse or on a tablet. So a Chromebook with a touchpad does not always work well for these games and can be really frustrating for kids. The character pages, like we saw with the NatureCat DIY, also has extra activities. A lot of times they do. Sometimes it's a coloring sheet, sometimes it's a PDF that you can download and explore. And so this website also features live screen and a broadcast schedule. And then, like I said, the PBS Kids Connector. And to find the standards for this game and for all of the Nature Cat assets, I went to PBS Learning Media. And both Muna and Kristen did webinars in some previous weeks sharing how to use that resource. And I'd be happy to share as well, but I felt like since they'd already done that, I would just mention that that's where I went to find the standards. And if you need extra help with that, I can share that during the office hours as well. And so these are the websites that I mentioned today. There's our PBS Wisconsin website, the PBS Kids website, the PBS Parents website, and PBS Learning Media. And so now is your time for questions, comments, ideas for how you could use this website, ideas for how to integrate the games into learning activities you'd like to share. However you'd like to use this time, feel free. Or if you just like to take some time to play the game and then pop back in and ask me questions, I'll be here until 4:30. So it's perfectly fine, however it works best for you.
Katie, I know that Julie was interested in the Wisconsin biographies. While you have your screen shared, would you mind opening up our PBS Wisconsin Education webpage and kind of showing those?
I don't mind at all. So I just went back and now I'm going to the classroom education part on our website. It also just looks like this. There. Oh. There it is. And so here's the featured resource of Gaylord Nelson. Here's our latest Wisconsin biography, right? And then there's Millie Zantos. She's pretty new as well. And so I'll just click. So for each of the Wisconsin biographies, there's information for teachers, there's activities, there's stories and themes. You can create an idea map or a trading card. You can watch the video together. And then there's the iBooks that you can share with students, the print resources, and the web resources. Kristen can probably go more over some of the features of Wisconsin biographies. No?
Anyone interested?
Just know that that's where it is and how to access it from our website.
Hey, Katie, will you stop sharing your screen? And I'm going to share my screen.
Sure. Okay, hold on. Is that new share?
I was wondering, what is the age for this program?
For Wisconsin biographies?
Yes, the whole program. I'm a pre-K, K3 teacher. Would I be able to use this in my K3 classroom?
Wisconsin biographies is probably a little bit too old for your kindergartners. It would be better for early readers, right? Second, third grade, Kristen?
This program is intended for students in 3rd through 6th grade, and it's being used all the way up to 8th grade.
Okay, I was looking at like the nature camp.
Yeah.
Game you did, would they be able to use that one for K3?
Yep, absolutely. That is a great resource for them. They may not play it. They may not play the game with the same kind of fidelity that a 2nd grader or a 1st grader would, but they'll still have a good time playing, and then you'll just adjust the framing questions accordingly. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
But a 2nd grader or 2nd graders that are at 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade level, I'm interested in the Gaylord Nelson one. Would it work for them if they can read at that level?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And there are different levels of the materials that you can choose depending on their reading skill level.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Their Lexile.
Yeah. I really haven't used PBS before, and this is very interesting, so I'll get in there and play around.
Yeah, so I really just shared sort of an example of one of the ways you can use it, and that's exactly what we support you doing. Is when you go on PBS Learning Media or you go on our website, take some time and grab a nice cup of coffee or a beverage of your choice and explore and think of ways that you can use these materials in your classroom. And then we're here to support you. So if you have a great idea but you want to flesh it out, you just go ahead and give us a call or send us an email. We'd be happy to help.
And this is perfectly fine to use with the virtual schooling right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's totally not copywritten. You can use it however you need to.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, friends, I am going to share my screen right now. And right now you should see my Facebook page. Is that what you see, Muna?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I am wanting to tell you about a new project from PBS Wisconsin called AKA Teacher. As teachers, we know that you wear many hats. There are many things that you do behind the scenes in your classroom. We know that you are social workers, counselors, nurses, fundraisers, bodyguards, referees, activists, and AKA Teacher is a new Facebook group that shares the stories of Wisconsin teachers as they navigate all of the hats they wear. And to be part of this group, on your Facebook page, search for AKA Teacher. You're going to be invited to join a group. And when you join the Facebook group, you'll supply your grade level, the subject area that you teach, the name of your school, the city that you teach in, and your school's email address. And you'll be invited to join the AKA Teacher Facebook group. On this group, you can see that we're posting questions to spark conversation among Wisconsin educators. Questions like, how are you keeping your students and yourself motivated during distance learning? How have you been able to support students' emotional needs through distance learning? Some teachers are posting resources that they're using. And here's an example of one of the videos created by my colleague at PBS Wisconsin. Let's take a look at it.
I'm a confidant, activist, and mentor. No homework. We don't have any homework, and we say that right away because I know that some of these kids are going home and they don't have time. I see kids who go home and babysit their 4 younger siblings and make them dinner, get them bathed, get them in their pajamas, put them to bed because their parent works 2 jobs. And so that's the one that's the saddest to me is how can we ask a kid to do their homework when they're a sophomore and they have 4 younger siblings they're taking care of every night. I just have to be an encourager. So right now I have a student who she does take care of her 4 siblings when she goes home every night. And I'm always just like, wow, you're amazing. Well, what did you feed them for dinner last night? Are they good? Are they nice? Are you reading them some books? And I drink in my own responsibilities and think about all the things that I need to do as a capable adult. And then I just think about how a developing 15-year-old has those same responsibilities that I do. I think it's a really heavy responsibility that they have to carry.
Okay, so the teacher that was featured in this video, one of the hats she has to wear is she's an encourager. And so she's given some tips on what she does in her classroom to support students that carry a lot of responsibility at home. And that's what this website or this Facebook group is going to be. It's going to be a collection of short videos giving tips on ways to handle the many hats that you are wearing. It's also a place where teachers can join in the conversation by commenting on the videos or asking questions. And our plan for January of 2021 is to launch a website where we will feature longer videos and videos of experts that can help you answer these questions. And truly, we want it to be a place where we can support the amazing work that you are doing, and a place where we can recognize all of the work that you are doing. And so please go to your Facebook account, search for AKA Teacher, and join the conversation. Your voice is really important. Thank you.
Any other questions for myself or for Kristen about our content, other PBS resources?
Can you tell me again how to contact you if after I play around I have questions?
Yep, sure. In the follow-up email, we'll be sure to include our email addresses so that you can contact us really easily.
I'll also put it in the chat box right now.
Thank you, Muna.
And I'm sharing my screen right now, and you can click on the About Us page, and right on the right-hand side of your screen, you see Content Questions, Senior Education Specialist. I'll answer all the questions that you have.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The other thing that could be useful if you look at Kristen's screen is to sign up for our newsletter. Maybe you already have, and that's how you found out about this webinar. But that's another great way to stay up to date on what's going on with us. And down at the bottom, there is our at-home learning page. That's relatively new, and it includes at-home learning resources that also are supported by our station, by the programming on television, as well as on our website.
Friends, I'm going to sign out here. Thanks for all that you are doing, Mary, Georgia, and Teresa in Wisconsin. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go start to play on the PBS page, so thank you.
Sure. Does anybody want to see what it looks like on an iPad or on the phone to look at the app?
Sure. Go ahead.
That would be
before I go. Yeah.
What's more useful, to see on an iPad or to see like on your phone?
On the phone.
On the phone?
Yeah.
Sure. And do you have technology for kids to be able to use, or do they have technology at home?
I'm sure they have it at home.
Okay.
Probably an iPad and a phone.
Sure. I'll go ahead and show you the phone. So I'm going to go back and share my screen. Share. And then I'm going to get out of this and go in here. And here is our document camera. And so here's the phone, and you kind of get a little bit of a glare, unfortunately. And I'll show you how to find that. Hold on a second. And so this is what the icon looks like, PBS Games right there, but you can also see the videos. So here's the nature cat options that I just shared with you. There's Cave Hunt, Nature Art Box, that one's really fun. The Feathered Feast, that's about feeding birds. Big Dig. We also have enjoyed playing Raging Rapids, where kids need to build a raft and race with their peers to go down a river, and they can make adjustments to the raft.
If you're playing alone, or tap here if you're playing with a friend.
1 player, 2 players.
1 player. Choose a character.
Very similar. Choose a character. Hit OK.
You can pick different sails here, bases here, and accessories here.
So this is a game you're going to play a lot of different times, and you're going to make a lot of different tweaks to be more successful.
With these arrows. Different bases make sails use the wind to speed up your boat. Choose your race course. Crazy Street. Begin. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
So you just use your fingers. And this can be really tricky if you go really fast and you don't have a great boat. And so it does teach kids about aerodynamics, making changes, and then you get points. So this has a little bit of skill and some science and engineering behind it. Uh-oh. Daisy's gaining on me.
If you do it on
And she's winning. Okay.
if you do it on a tablet, is it basically the same?
I'll show you what it looks like on the tablet. Hold on a second. Okay, can you see it? Yep.
Yes.
Pretty good. Okay, so I have the Nature Cat app right there. We can explore other options than Nature Cat, but he's just, you know, pertinent, so he's right here. So it does look really similar. That could be because I have an iPhone and this is an iPad. Sometimes it takes a little second for it to load.
You have to download this app to your phone and iPad.
You have to download the PBS Kids Video or the PBS Kids Games app. And both of those are free. They take up a little bit of memory, so that's kind of a bummer. But then you can play the games off of that. And they download just for a second, just so that you can play them.
Okay.
You can also see that there's a little tab that says grown-ups there. And
Yes.
that tells about the game and some of the learning objectives involved there.
Okay.
So that's kind of useful to know. And so now it's open. And you can just play. It's going to load up.
Daisy, winter's coming, and soon it will be harder for birds to find food. To help them, let's feed our fine feathered friends a fabulous feast. Sweet.
We'll skip. It's just it's a fun activity where you pick out which bird feeders you'd like to feed, and there are different birds that all want food, and you have to scamper around to make sure all your birds are fed. Okay. So it's a fun game. Then that takes you back to the PBS Kids, and I'll just show you what the so this is truly the app. So this is the Games app. Again, it's going to show you, sometimes it's you'll get the game of the day. That's really fun. But then you can pick by character and see all that's involved. So we also love Xavier Riddle in our house. And so there's 2 games for Xavier Riddle. And Hidden Heroes is a fun game, but it starts where there's only one hero that you can access. And once you're more and more successful, then you can unlock other characters. And that's another similar feature of a lot of the PBS Kids games. You know, that they're leveled. So once you're successful, then there's more and more. And Xavier Riddle would be a game that would be more for probably a first grader. There's some other games here that are definitely more appropriate for younger kids as well. And in the apps sheet that we share, it'll have a better overview of what you can be looking for to suit the different ages and grades.
Okay, well, thank you. I better check in on some of my students. I keep getting beeped here.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much for participating.
Well, thank you.
Best wishes.
Good health to you.
Bye-bye. Okay, so here's Hidden Heroes.
I wonder who the secret museum wants us to find. Pick a real-life hero to find in the secret museum.
So I have already played this game and it's saved. So I've already found John Sebastian Bach, Johann Bach. And so next I can go on to the next one. And so then you can unlock all of them. The Wildcat Brother games are really fun. So there's all kinds of different options. And then some of these, if you look on this iPad, like Molly of Denali has her own app. Her app looks a little bit different, as does Ready, Jet, Go. So to just play the games, you can just play games or play videos. But then some of those characters have their own app, and they will have the games, but it'll look just a little bit different than it does on PBS Kids. So Muna, I know you're doing Molly of Denali. And this is hooking up to Milwaukee PBS because that's where my zip code is. So that's where it wants to hook up. So this is what Molly of Denali, what her app looks like.
Welcome back to Kaya. Let's explore.
So you're going to play the same games and look at the same stuff, but the format is just a little bit different. So you want to take Molly and go over to play the game and then click on the game. And then it'll let you know what the game is. So this is the fish camp game, right? And this is a free app. Play and Learn Science is another free app that's great for smaller kids. I love the Sink or Float. My kid loves Thirsty Doggy. She's in first grade. She still thinks Thirsty Doggy is the funnest game. So this is not on the PBS Kids website, but this is a PBS Kids product, right? So you can download this as an app, and then you can pick which game you want. Super easy for little kids to play. These are all the ramp games. Here's the shadow games, and then the temperature games. And if you look on PBS Learning Media, you can find the learning activities that go with all of these, because that's part of our ready to learn games. Okay?
Okay.
Any questions?
No.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to see while I have this part of my screen going?
No, I think it's enough. I need to
Okay.
to practice on some of it.
There you go. While you're watching TV, you can play Fish Camp. Oh. Super fun. And here's
What I put this on?
Biography's page. The other thing, if you are a teacher of young children, that you could check out at our in our early childhood page is Bright by Text. That's another great feature.
Okay.
That you sign up for text messages about child development. They feature some PBS Kids activities, and parents sign up and get a couple texts, sometimes 4 or 5 texts a week that share great activities to do with kids. So that's another resource. That's one of the tiles on our early childhood website. So they can sign up online, or they can just text the word Badger to 27448. Super easy. And then here's information for PBS Kids parents. That's another nice resource for you to share with parents. And then this is also a way to access the PBS Kids programming. You can live stream it, or you can choose episodes. So that part's really useful too.
Now, a lot of these programs on the PBS Early Childhood, are they easier for the kids to do them by themselves, or they need assistance from their parents?
Some of them are really fun to play together.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them, they're pretty intuitive. So even young children, without a lot of guidance, maybe just a little help getting set up, and but the instructions are really clear, and they'll have like you noticed in Nature Cat, Nature Cat did the overview of what the instructions were. And
Right.
so usually if a kid plays the game a couple times and explores, they'll be able to figure it out. And then that's
Okay.
another great opportunity for you to follow up saying, hey, what did you learn when you were playing this game?
Okay.
Yeah. So some of the games are like the Odd Squad games. Those are a little old for young children, but for first and second graders and up, those are great math games. Those are
Okay.
really fun, and they're sometimes tricky, and students will start learning and figuring out math without knowing that they're doing division.
Okay.
They have a halfinator, and that's one of the games. So
All right.
so there's some sneaky learning ways while you're playing the game that is really useful for teaching kids in a playful way.
Okay.
So we have about 6 minutes left. Is there anything else that I can share?
I might need to put on my continued education for the resource. How would I do that?
Mm-hmm. I could probably. Are you working at a public school, or are you at a private school, or are you at a child care center?
I'm at Head Start. I'm with Head Start.
Head Start.
Yeah.
Okay. Check. Follow up with me after you receive the follow up,
Mm-hmm.
and I will see if I can get you some registry credits for the webinar.
Okay.
Okay.
Now the follow up with you is with the email you're going to send me.
Yep. Yep.
Now, are you also going to include the there's some web resource things on there for the web page?
Yep.
Are you also going to? Okay.
Yep. You bet. I'll make sure to include all of the links that I shared.
Yeah.
I'll include this video so you can look back on it, and
Okay.
I'll include the free apps sheets. I'll do PDFs of those so that you can explore those as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And some of those will be like if you're playing on the PBS Kids website, you'll be like, oh yeah, I totally know all about Cart Kingdom. It's really fun. But some of them might be ones that you aren't as familiar with, and you'll be able to be like, oh, I didn't know that that was a really great learning activity, that Sid the Science Kid was all about science, and it'll give you some other ideas to explore and see if they'd be useful for using with your kids.
Okay.
Georgia, where do you work?
I work at Next Door.
Oh, do you?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yeah.
Awesome. And how do you still have kids, or are they at home now?
They're at home, so
They're
I'm
at
trying to
home.
think of things
Yeah.
for them to do at home. So
Yeah, that's hard. But
yes, it is.
if they do have access to technology, even if it's just their parents' phones, the PBS Kids Games app and the PBS Kids Videos app could be really useful for them.
Yeah, we've been posting things. We have the dojo that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been posting things on dojo. Plus, we've been calling parents on the phone, trying to stay in contact with them. So we're trying to keep them informed of what's going on. So we just give them ideas to do things at home, you know.
Yeah, and so some of those, like the do-it-yourself activities would be really, really supportive of stuff to do at home that doesn't take money and
Right.
doesn't involve, going and buying something or going out to find something that, is tricky to find. It's stuff that people will be able to find out in their backyard, right? Or
right.
in
their houses.
Yeah, right. Well, hang in there. I know it's hard.
It is very hard.
It is. And as a parent, it's like, wow, I'm getting so much stuff. How do I pick, what's the best what's the
Right.
best and what's the most useful for your kids. So hopefully
Yeah.
these are some resources that'll really help you out.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Georgia, I also created a list of, or it's a shared Google Drive folder that has a list of printables that have to do with different science, technology, engineering, and mathematic things for early learners.
Okay.
So I'll share that drive with you just so that you can get some different ideas on different activities that you could send to the parent or to your students.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Georgia, did you see any of the other webinars on how to use PBS Learning Media?
No, this was the first one. I tried to sign up before, but I don't know what happened. So this is the first one that I got through on.
Okay, that's another really great resource for you. And if after you've played around with these and you want to explore that more, I'd be happy to help you out. So again, after I send you the follow-up email, then you can contact me. And if you want to learn more about how to use PBS Learning Media to find materials for your kids, I'd be happy to help.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this was really fun, everybody. This was my first webinar, so I think it went okay.
It did.
Oh, thank you. I hope you learned something, and I hope that it was a good use of your time, and I hope it was a little bit fun.
It was.
Good.
A lot of good information. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Oh, absolutely, Georgia. Absolutely. It was nice to virtually meet you.
All right then. Now.
All right. All right. And we're done. So thank you, everybody.